Hello, welcome to another Unwrapping. This time, the Ballad of Genesis and Lady Jayne, music from the motion picture. I was very sad to hear the other day of Genesis P-Orridge has died, age 70, from leukemia, I think it was. He's a real avant-garde specialist. I mean, I probably don't need to tell you if you're watching this video. Came from Throbbing Gristle and then on to his long solo stuff, his psychic TV stuff just went on. Did so many albums and really stuck to the avant-garde, really embraced it, and I love it. I've got on this channel actually, on the Nonsensical Child channel, I've got my own avant-garde playlist, and people like this have influenced me. Sometimes it's not the music, it's the sound itself. That's what it is sometimes. Anyway, I don't need to tell you, they were trying to become one, and he's no longer a he, he's a he/he/r, a her, he, her, where they were becoming one. He had a sort of mindset of the way he was progressing, and I just the music. So we've got a sort of, I thought this would be fitting to get this and his passing, because I just thought I had to do something, because it was actually on the BBC website, which I was very pleased to see that they mentioned that he died. But a lot of these sort of musicians or avant-garde specialists can just disappear and no one really gets a mention because they're not that mainstream. I love people that stand against the mainstream and just say, look at me, I'm different. Yeah. Right, so this has been out for a while, hasn't it? But I think it's on coloured vinyl. Let's have a quick look. You can see what the tracks are. Some psychic TV stuff there. I'm also going to have a little look through some of the other things I've got. Psychic TV and Throbbing Gristle. So I have got a Gristleism box, and I think you might be interested, if you haven't heard it, to hear that as well. Okay, I don't know anything about this film, but this was the one. When I was looking through, I thought, well, what shall I buy to commemorate his death? His, her, here, death. And I just thought this would be the most fitting, I think. Just like, you know, there's all sorts on here, all over the place. Different eras. So let's see what picture we get. Okay. A lot of writing. I'll have a quick scan. You may wish to pause and read. Let's just quickly... Sorry about the shadow, that's my microphone wind stopper there. I'll quickly do 2 at a time here. It's in 4K, so you should be able to expand it. So I used to go to a club in Bristol called Romeo and Juliet's in the very early 80s, probably 80, 81. It was a bit like sort of the Blitz Club, but Bristol's version. So downstairs was, quotation marks, normal. So you'd have like Billy Joel, Uptown Girl playing and stuff like that. And it was quite a big club. It's right next to Bridewell Police Station. And upstairs was a tiny little club that you could wander in and out of. You know, they were both, it was just stairs separating them both. And all the alternatives, punks and futurists and what have you, used to congregate out there, and I was one of the people that used to be out there. I used to wear a full face of makeup, and so did a friend of mine, and just used to dance night away up there, listening to stuff like psychic TV, had Gadget, all sorts of things. And I got a real taste for, I like chart music as well, you know. I like Depeche Mode or, you know, something like that. But I also love the avant-garde, and oh yes, clear vinyl, fantastic, isn't that wonderful? So you can actually see the the tracks on the other side. Oh, fantastic. It's quite light. It's not 180 gram or anything like that, but I am a sucker for vinyl that isn't black. I know black's my favourite colour. Any vinyl it's not black, I sort of, I tend to get drawn to. It's not going back in now, is it? Come on, go back in. There we go. And I guess the other disc is the same. Is there anything inside there? No. But anyway, it's nice to have a bit of writing, so something to read while you're listening to all these tracks from all over the place. Of course, Lady Jayne died before him. There was one psychic TV track they used to play at Romeo and Juliet, and I never caught what it was. And I bought a few discs, and I never got it, and I probably wouldn't even recognise it now. Do you ever? Of course, now you just look it up on the phone, don't you, and you hum it or whatever, and it tells you what the track is. But back in the day, if you couldn't get hold of someone and find out what that track was, you had very little chance of finding it. You couldn't go online, for example, and play tracks by them and see if you can find it. You just have to know the name, and even then, you'd go to the record shop and try and order the disc, and sometimes you couldn't even get it. That happened to me once. I found this track, Laurie and the Chameleons it was. It's like Japanese sort of techno pop. But I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And I heard it. I think Dave Lee Travis played it, actually. I think that was Radio 1. And I ordered it. W.H. Smith sold it in the record department, and then they reordered it and ordered it again, and I never got it. So it wasn't always easy to get access to music when I was growing up. So there we are. That's the Ballad of Genesis and Lady Jayne. Rest in peace, Genesis. P-Orridge. Rest in peace, mate. So a few of the other things I've got. This is a good one, because there's some nice live stuff on here. So you get all sorts in these box sets. Yep. Themes. Oh, that's good, that one. So you get like sort of long chords and soundtracks, and then you go into something completely different on some of the other ones. I like that one, Live in Basildon. My mate, he hates it. I played it to it a few times, and when he comes round, and he went Live in Basildon, like, you know. I was like, I don't like it. Got some nice pictures here as well. Mind you, he made so many albums. I think I can happily find some more to keep me going. It's just like he was still alive, because there's just so many out there. It's not like some bands when they only do like one album every 2 years or something. He made loads of albums, loads, and a lot of live stuff. Live stuff's pretty good as well. There's a few clips. There's one really good one of Throbbing Gristle, some live concert on YouTube, which I really like watching. There's not many live ones on there. There's a few. It's worth having a hunt around. Oh, for goodness sake. Put it away. I'll do it later. So, solo albums. This one's okay. It's alright. But I'll show you my... This is my... So far, of what I've heard, this is my favourite one so far. Because it's got really nice bass lines. It's sort of... you know, Justify My Love by Madonna, the sort of vibe that's going on in that. It's got that sort of vibe. It's sort of deep bass synths, slightly slowed down voice, and the first track he's talking about looking in the mirror and the reasons why he looks in the mirror, and it sort of comes across, look, as it's an electrostatic bag This is my favourite one. If you're wondering, shall I dip my toe into the world of psychic TV and Throbbing Gristle and what have you? This is a light step in because it's not as way out as some of the stuff. I can't get out of the bag now. Oh, I see, that's broke. It's very minimal, this one. Genesis, P-Orridge and Astrid Monroe. When I was young. Yeah, the track's brilliant. Really like that track. Yeah, it's got a certain flavour, this one. It's sort of like similar tracks on this one. Yeah, so if you want to go into sort of like, well, it's not celebrities with her, but you know, when he broke away from Throbbing Gristle and not Psychic TV, this would be a good one to go for. Really do like this. Now, a little look to Throbbing Gristle now, but it's not an album. It's this. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a Gristleism box. So you get this little card here. A riot of laughter and excitement. There we go, just catch the light if I can, there we go. Gristleism.com. I don't know if these are still available. I think these were quite a limited edition run. This Gristleism box. So here's the tracks. It's got Hamburger Lady on here. Hamburger Lady. And I think the original Gristleism box, people circuit bent it, so they decided to bring this version out. I think I'm right in this, which is sort of circuit bent, so you can change the speed of the track as well as the volume. So you select the track, there's a volume, and then you can also change the speed, which is fantastic. Yeah, I should have done a video about this before, really, shouldn't I? Oh, we've got Wimpy Bar and Hamburger Lady. Oh, I love Wimpy Bars back in the day. They're so much better than McDonald's. Right, so, oh, hang on, there's another bit on the bottom there. I don't know if I showed you that or not. I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike for this, but probably worth it. think it's crashed. Back to beginning. actually. I'm forgetting that I'm filming there, and I'm just drifting right off messing around with this Gristleism box. So that is a little tribute to Genesis P-Orridge. The world's not such a good place without him in it. As I say, sometimes, and I believe this myself, that music's great, and the sounds that make music is great, but sometimes the sounds themselves are the great part, and they don't necessarily have to make a tune. I know some people don't get it, and they say it's just a row, or you know, I get this with my own stuff, you know, just what's the point? And I do it on my Great Mesmo channel as well, with just making synthesizers drone. And sometimes it's just listening to that lovely analog sound of like a Ramona 4 voice or something, just listening to the sound rather than actually trying to make a musical track out of it. It's sort of a individual celebration of sound, and he did a lot of that, along with other people, of course, as well. So, well, rest in peace, mate, and thank you for the avant-garde.